Now, I don't know if any of you have the headline, but this is interesting. President-elect John Mahama has been talking about how he will, Parliament will not abuse their majority. Listen to this.
I wish to assure my father and our fathers that we're not going to misuse the majority we have in Parliament. Even though we have a huge majority, more than 2/3, we're not going to misuse it. We're going to consult with the minority at every stage and make sure that we do things by consensus instead of railroading everybody. Everybody knows that I'm a typical Democrat, and so I believe in jaw, I believe in consensus building, and I believe in democracy.
It's reassuring.
Yeah. I just wonder how he's able to know. I mean, it's Parliament. It shouldn't be under the control of the president, should it?
It is not.
doesn't
The members are
mean
from
that-
the party.
Yeah.
So that would be abuse, wouldn't it? If the president can tell you what will happen in Parliament, that means the president is in control. And by the way, this is a Parliament that is not yet even formed. They don't yet have a speaker. All they know is that they'll have a supermajority. And the president is the one able to assure the nation that they will not abuse it. How can he know?
Maybe could you come
Parliament
in
is
from
supposed to be a separate organ of government,
But you know,
not
Kojo,
under the control of the president.
it hasn't entirely
the
worked
case.
as
That is the
strictly
point I'm making.
separation of powers.
That is the point I'm making. And that in itself is the abuse.
especially when the constitution itself says the majority
He's-
of your
he's gonna
ministers
get his
should
ministers
come.
from Parliament anyway.
Yes. But that's to form the executive.
So maybe
He is promising that Parliament will not abuse its majority. But he's the president. He doesn't run Parliament.
But he's also the leader of the party.
party.
So the party runs Parliament.
Kojo.
Well, the
No,
argument has been
You know,
in the past that you understand.
we could go on, but
No,
we've had the
the-
evidence in recent past where we've had parties write
We
to
are
their members
actually
in
saying
Parliament
the same thing.
to ask them to do
We are
To a
vote
certain line.
a certain
We
way.
are go a
Exactly.
certain way.
We are
That's what
actu-
there's a cheap
we
way.
are actually saying the same thing. All of these are examples of abuse.
I
Right?
actually don't
So-
find what the president elect what he said constituting an abuse. I do
So
not.
the president telling you how Parliament will run is not an abuse
I
of the
would-
power of. You don't think so?
It's not telling me how Parliament will run.
That's what he's saying. He's saying that they will not
he's
abuse it.
looking at what the reality is, which is
Uh-huh.
the fact that he has the NDC has got an overwhelming majority in the
Yes.
next parliament.
Yes.
We have a minor minority.
Yes.
And people are concerned that they're going to use their numbers to get through. We know that things come from the executive
Yeah.
through to parliament and
Yeah.
then it gets passed.
Look.
So from where he sits, he says that I would get the two sides to
Yeah.
reach a consensus so that we can pass. And that's why I said it's assuring.
Okay.
Because he's
So-
trying to tell everybody, listen, those of you who feel that we're going to use our numbers to just get things to pass, that's not the intention.
So if really we were following the system of governance that we've chosen for ourselves, the president should not even be in a position to give that assurance. All he will say is that we hope to choose leaders in Parliament who will give you that assurance. Right? Because it's Parliament that has to give it, not the president. The minute it comes from the president, it means Parliament has already lost its power.
Okay, we're not going to agree. So
All right.
we agree to
Let's
disagree.
disagree. Let's move
and
on.
move on.
Let's start with the Daily Guide. The lead story. It says lawyer drags special prosecutor to CJ. That is on page 6. And then also no major post-election incident in 24 hours. So says the IGP. Gomor Otreko accident claims 3 lives in 20 in critical conditions. And also another lead story on the Daily Guide says 14 Damango NDC boys caged, and the outgoing MPs and their replacement. That story is on page 10. And also 2 Chinese and Ghanaian galamseyers attempt plea bargain. And those are the lead stories in the Daily Guide.
All right, let's jump straight into the Daily Graphic newspaper. There's a story that warms my heart this morning. And I will be reading a bit of that to you. It says Major General Anita Asma gets UN appointment. I'm going to start from there. The United Nations Secretary General has announced the appointment of Major General Anita Asma of Ghana as head of mission and force commander of the United Nations Disengagement Observer Force. So she'll be assuming this new role in January 2025. And the mission essentially is to keep peace. She's going to be heading the team that's set up to help maintain the ceasefire between Israel and Syria. And we wish her the very best. We're proud of her. The entire country is behind Major General Anita Asma. All right, back to other headlines. On the economic challenges that we're facing, new government needs solid team. That's according to experts. Handover notes ready for next government. That's according to the Administrator General. And then student stabs teacher in the eye. NAT demands justice for victim. I'll get to that story in the bits, but the banner headline, transition team probes last minute deals. Payment recruitments involved. It comes with a picture of Julius Deborah, co-chairperson of the joint transition team. But this very disturbing story on page 24 of the paper talks about NAT, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, demanding justice for a teacher who was stabbed in the left eye by a loitering student of the Esuosu Senior High School at Ofinso in the Ashanti region. So this teacher simply asked a student who was just walking around to get back to his classroom. And that ended him losing his left eye completely, actually, because he was stabbed in the left eye after he asked the loitering student to enter the classroom. The teacher is said to have lost his eye upon the assault. NAT has therefore called on the Ghana Police Service to prosecute the said student, insisting also that the affected teacher deserves a workman's compensation for losing his eye while performing his lawful duty.
Wait, that was not like automatically done?
Well, I'm even surprised that that's coming up because it was line of
what has
duty. He was working.
To the student as we speak right
now.
So
what is also disturbing is the fact that there are people in the area apparently who are trying to get the police to drop and not follow through and prosecute this matter. So NAT is also warning that those who are trying to speak to people to drop the case, they've been warned. They should stop that.
But the boy has been arrested, right?
It doesn't talk about that, actually. It doesn't.
Wow.
It doesn't. It just gives very little. Maybe we can do a follow-up on this. But, wow, how does this happen?
Wow. And look, if you are an elder, a senior member of society, a pastor, or some sort of, community leader, and someone comes to you to lead them to go and beg on behalf of a child who stabbed his teacher in the eye, so that the child doesn't face the consequence of his actions, and you too, you get up and follow them to go and beg, what kind of grown-up are you? I mean, at what point did we decide as a collective that people should be spared the consequences of their bad choices? When did we decide on that? Let the boy face whatever is coming his way, because he decided to do whatever the heck he did. Well, how do you do that?
I don't know the details of the story. I mean, no matter the amount of provocation, it doesn't justify stabbing someone in the eye.
And think about it. This is a teacher. He needs his eye. I mean, the job requires that he uses his eyes.
Who doesn't need his eyes? Who doesn't need their eyes?
I mean, I think the boy, if he has not been arrested, he has to be arrested. The teacher also has to be really compensated for this.
This one, there's swift prosecution.
And people are begging for him.
He should be punished for what he's done.
I mean, look, if it's his parents, that one I understand. That's for parents. Yeah, you have to. Even a serial killer's parents love him. So that one there, what can you do about it? But that you are just some member of society, and someone comes to you that lead me to go and beg for a boy who stabbed his teacher in the eye. Then you bath and you follow them.
What if it was your brother, your son, your father? On the back page, the aftermath of the 2024 polls, TUC, GBA condemn actions of rampaging youths. And I'm sure you guys have seen people come strongly at the Ghana Bar Association and say, where have you been? And suddenly you found your voice. Well, there's new leadership in place, so perhaps that's why.
New leadership in place in Ghana or in the Bar Association?
The Bar Association. The Bar Association. Okay. So there's a new national president, Efwagate.
Yes, there's also a new national president, John Mahama. Do you think the two are connected?